Welcome back to the W.A.I.T channel's After the Show Thoughts and Recaps, a shorter version where we share what we are thinking. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Since we don't have a minute to spare, let's jump right in.
Welcome to the After Show Afterthoughts for Southern Charm. Well, we're at the finale. The Sewing Down South Gala has everyone's attention as they pick out their outfits. Olivia reaches out to Leva, who has already heard Naomi's version of what happened on the trip with Craig, and of course, Craig is solely labeled as being in the wrong. Not saying that he was right, but Naomi definitely pushed some buttons at that last dinner. Meanwhile, Craig and Paige enjoy their own snack tray, which is an unconscious nod to Craig's time with Naomi, whether he realizes it or not. Paige tries to help Craig out by recommending that he do a seating chart, but Craig unfortunately does not heed that advice, and boy will he regret it. But he does listen to her, and he plans to re-invite Naomi to the gala. Patricia engages in another evening of getting shit-faced, her term, and this time it's with Naomi and Madison, using the shambog and eating caviar. And of course, there's an awkward exchange with Naomi and Whitney. Then Craig calls and he falls on his sword with Naomi, and everyone is listening on speakerphone. And of course, they weigh in and suggest that she go ahead and attend. Craig and Paige then check in on the event venue where Craig's business partner, Amanda, is setting things up, and she once again brings up the seating chart, which Craig passes on again. So he will regret it, which we all will see. Shep and Taylor have a heart-to-heart, except we know that Shep only has a heart that's open to what he wants and what he needs. So he proposes, oops, wrong word, don't say proposes. He suggests that they go and travel around the world using a joint bank account with his $30,000 in it, and they just stay gone until the money runs out. But what home will Taylor be able to return to if she quits her job? Now, it's time for the event. Paige and Craig walk in, and Paige gives Craig so much credit for manifesting his vision. And then we see flashbacks of what he had to deal with from all the naysayers. But as people arrive, they seem to be impressed, and Austen tells Craig that the party itself serves as an eating the crow moment without him having to say anything. And then Naomi, one of his main doubters, walks in, and Craig can't help but smile at the irony of it all. Naomi takes things a little bit differently because she says she was not going to allow Craig to force her out of their friend group, which makes me kind of look at her relationship with Whitney, their little entanglement, with a little side eye once again. Venita goes over to Naomi and tries to have a conversation, but she is kind of ignored. But in the same vein, Naomi is telling her they're good. Then we get to see the Ice Queen as Olivia tags Catherine when she makes her appearance. Leva starts to throw shade at Craig by telling him that ideas are the easy part, and she laughs it off. Really, Leva? At his event, that's how you treat the host? More small talk amongst the group, and then the topic of Shep and Taylor comes up about their traveling. Marcy suggests that Taylor just rent out her place, and that's just an easy thing to do. She doesn't mention the quitting the job part. But Whitney and Craig try to hold Shep's feet to the fire and say, what happens when you return? Well, more to come on that. Venita tries to talk to Naomi yet again, but it gets worse because Naomi basically lets her know, you are not my friend, which is a gut check for Venita. So we get to once again see the cold-hearted side of Naomi, the side that used to be just reserved for Craig. As Whitney and Patricia make an exit for Whitney to take Patricia home, Craig and Paige begin to notice that some seats are being held with purses, which is what people do when you're at an event with no seating chart. And Craig wishes he had a seating chart, especially when Naomi comes up to him and says, "Where am I supposed to sit?" And she takes it as a personal affront that he did this on purpose to make her feel left out. Naomi, it ain't that serious, girl. But history shows they don't do too well at the same table anyway. And if Naomi wasn't being so petty, her not friend Venita would have saved a spot at the table for her, I'm sure. But in any case, Leva goes and joins Naomi's pity party, and they act real petty about the seating setup. It gets to the point where Leva is just being mean and nasty. But then we get a moment of levity with Shep saying grace over the food and Craig giving a little speech. Kind of left some people out, but his girl Paige was proud of him. She gave him credit. Then we see Whitney return long enough to hear Naomi whining about the seating, and then Leva still complaining, but now to Craig's business partner about the seating setup. Leva, the business partner was in on the planning, so they could have put a kibosh to his no seating chart if it really mattered that much. So let it go, girl. But it gets worse because Craig begins to hear Leva and he asks Leva to leave. Well, she can't leave without throwing a little bit more shade, saying she was only talking to the people who actually run his business. Olivia and the other girls follow her out, but not before Olivia and Madison exchange a few snippy words to each other. But after Leva leaves, 10 minutes later, things seem to end on a not horrible, but also not great note. But let's cut to 3 months later, and it shows Shep and Taylor starting their travel adventure. However, they end up back in Charleston in a relationship that's worse off than when they left, because Shep is still not committed, and maybe it's because he's also not faithful. More to come with the reunion.